Hello everyone, my name is Auer-Rizzi and I have a great pleasure to present today on the topic How Does Institution Matter? Leadership Behavior in Eastern and Western Europe by Auer-Rizzi and Reber 2016. This topic is particularly close to me because I come from Poland, a country that plays a significant role in the study. So let's dive in. What is this study about? The authors explore a fundamental question. What is the relationship between leadership and institutions? To answer this, they compare Eastern and Western Europe, focusing on Austria-Germany and Czech Republic and Poland. The authors build on insights from multiple cross-cultural studies that were carried out after major political and economic shifts in the region. The key studies referenced by authors are Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions, based on data from IBM employees in more than 70 countries. Second one is the GLOBE project, a large-scale cultural and leadership study. And the third one, Wromieton model, examining participation in decision-making. The results are on the next slide. Let's start with Hofstede's findings. Austria and Germany are characterized by low power distance. This means leadership tends to be participative. In contrast, Czech Republic and Poland show higher power distance, which supports a more autocratic leadership style. The second study, GLOBE, reveals a similar pattern to Hofstede's findings. However, it is important to mention that the data for Czech Republic is missing in this study. The third one, Wromieton model, shows a similar trend. Austria and Germany involve teams more in decisions, while Poland and the Czech Republic prefer a more top-down style. Looking at the trends over time, in Austria and Germany, stable participation in leadership was observed, but declined after 2000, largely due to weakening social partnership and the pressures of globalization. In the Czech Republic, participation levels remained relatively stable, showing little change across decades. Poland, however, a rise in power distance was observed, signaling that leadership became even more hierarchical. This was interpreted by Professor Moczyński in a way that institutional reforms by themselves rarely transform leadership behavior. Let's have a look at a concrete example of that. The tandem model shows how leadership can evolve. German and Czech managers co-led during Skoda's integration with Volkswagen. As a result, Czech managers became more participative, and this change lasted even after the model ended. Key point of this study: leadership behavior can shift over time, and those shifts can last longer. What are the interpretations of the studies? History helps explain today's leadership styles. After World War II, Austria and Germany were reshaped by Allied influence, co-determination, and strong social partnerships. Meanwhile, Poland and the Czech Republic spent decades under Soviet rule with centralized and autocratic systems. As a result, these different paths made long-term effects on a leadership behavior. Key takeaways from today's presentations. When we look at the leadership across Europe, it is clear that history and institution matter. In Austria and Germany, the post-war focus on social partnership and co-determination created a culture of participative leadership, where decision-making is shared and employees are consulted. On the other hand, Poland and the Czech Republic, shaped by decades of centralized control under the Soviet system, developed more hierarchical and autocratic leadership styles. Studies like Hofstede, GLOBE, and Wromieton confirm these patterns. Western Europe scores lower on power distance and higher participation, while Eastern Europe remains more hierarchical. But there is the key point. Institutional reforms alone don't change leadership behavior. Deep cultural shifts are needed. The Skoda case is a great example. Volkswagen tandem model, by pairing Czech and German managers, helped bridge cultural gaps and left a lasting impact on leadership practices. If you would like to explore Hofstede's framework and compare countries, I invite you to scan this QR code to access the country comparison tool. Thank you for today's attention. Or as we say in Poland, dziękuję Wam wszystkim.